Today I will be showing you how to take my template Projects and Tasks, which was one of the first templates that I have created, but it's very popular on my actual store, which is alanocean.gumroad.com. If you want, you can actually check it out. It's free to download. And I'm going to show you how to turn it into the focused goal planning tool that will help you achieve your goals and gain focus that you need in order to execute on those goals. You see, our general problem is not that we have all these lists taken, but that we're being distracted by so many other things. So selecting a goal and selecting to focus on it and subtracting everything else will help us achieve that goal. And as you can see, we can set it as a focus goal, and if you go to another tab, Focus, all the other tasks get removed, get distracted, so you have no distractions other than focusing on achieving your goal. And today I'm going to be showing you how to build that template, starting with Projects and Tasks, which is freely available as my thank you. So let's get right into it. So this is the Projects and Tasks template that is our starting point. We need to introduce the concept of goals. So we're going to be expanding below the projects, and we are going to be adding the notion of goals. So let's create a new heading, and we're going to be saying, okay, emoji, let's put some, let's see, what do we have? I like this target because it means shooting for the target, hitting the goal works for me. Right click, and let's put the color green background, which actually I like this aesthetic, so people know if it's white and green, that's usually my style. So if you like it, I don't know, let me know what works for you. So we're going to be creating a new table, which is the new database, and then we're going to be putting and calling it goals. So I'm going to be calling it goals new DB because I have already developed this template. So right now I just want to demonstrate how this is being done. So not to mix up the two, I'm decided to put this one. We're going to call this goals. Really simple, really evocative, and we need to be hiding this database title to make it pretty, and then I obviously want to beautify it. So I'm going to be creating a call out to put it in a nice web GUI element that it's easy to move around if we ever decide to do that. It's a hack in which if you do that, everything else will fall into place. So what we're going to do, we're going to be taking this goals, and let's create one or two simple goals which will just help me gain some traction and get some bogus data in. As you know, I'm a big sucker for having a bogus data in the table because it helps me think through how is this data connected, how it gets structured, and what things we need to do. We have goal 1, goal 2. So let's add in the columns. First one would naturally be the due date because, well, if you have a goal, you want to achieve it by a certain date. Otherwise, it's just wishful thinking and dreams. So no, that's not something that we want to take on here. Second, we want to describe a desired outcome. How will we know we have reached that goal? How does success looks like? And it also helps you understand what are you shooting for? What are you trying to achieve? And then the current situation, because in my mind, that will help me backtrack what are the things that I need to do to reach that goal. Then the next thing we want to add a checkbox, which is the magic button, and I will be showing you, it's not a button, it's a check mark, which is called focus. Now this little thing is gonna do the world for us. So it's really important we get this nailed right. The second thing, we need to have priority, because if we have multiple goals, we want to have them sorted and we want to figure out which one is the most prioritized. Priority levels, we have 3, obviously, low, medium, and high, and it doesn't need to be more complex than that. I mean, if you want to really have your system be powerful and working for you, you need to keep things simple. Simplicity scales, complexity fails. Just remember that. Let's see, we need to add another relation, and that relation is first gonna be to the tasks. So the goal now, what we're trying to do is connect the goals to the simple tasks and the projects, because both of those will be contributing to the higher end goal. Not everything is done through project. However, sometimes simple tasks can compound and create the success that we really need. Now, first things, we're gonna connect to the simple tasks, and which means here in the task we should be getting a goal. See, goals new DB. We're just gonna be renaming it and making sure that it's being called correctly. We're gonna call it goal because this task is either is or isn't connected to the goal. And we're gonna add the property where we add this like little hitting the target. I really like it because I really like to hit my goals. I mean, pun intended. We have set a task and added a simple task. So here in the simple task, we can actually see which tasks are linked to the goals. The second thing we want to do is we have the projects DB. We're going to be calling it also projects new DB so that we don't mistake it with the one that I've already developed. So we're going to create another relation, and this time it's going to be related to the projects, to the projects new DB to be specific. And also we're going to have the goal related property name, which is goal. Simple. So here we're going to have projects, and it can be plural because it could be that we have multiple projects contributing to the same goal, which is understandable. For example, as I had introducing my Gumroad page, fixing it up, we could have multiple projects, improve thumbnails, improve sales pages, and all that jazz. So these projects are also consisting of some simple tasks, and we're gonna get to that so we can actually prioritize. But first, let's sort out this table so it looks actually a little bit nicer, so that we know what we want to do with it. We have projects, simple tasks. Let's add another field, and this time we are gonna be adding up the progress tracker. So this will actually tell us how far along the goal it is, and it's, for the time being, we call it progress, and it's going to be developed as a number, but later on we're going to convert it to formula, because we're going to calculate based on all of the tasks contributing to the overall progress. So this is just a placeholder. We're going to work on it a little bit further down the line. Let's fill in our goals table with some bogus data. So let's see, the due date, we're going to be placing it, let's say, next week. How about goal 1 is to be in a week time. Priority level, we're gonna start and populating with the low, medium, and high. Green for low, yellow for medium, and red for high. Cool, I needed to move my head a little bit there. Sorry. Anyway, so we're gonna be saying high and low. Right. The goal 1 has some already. We're not gonna focus on desired outcome. That's something when you really want to focus and working on the goals, you really want to describe them. Now, we have the goal here in terms of the projects. We're gonna drag it a little bit further along, so we're not gonna, let's also make sure that it looks nice. Related goal. I think it's actually better that we have it called related goal. The related goal to the project. Yeah, I think actually that makes more sense in my head. By the way, this template that you're watching right now is gonna become, this one is gonna be a paid template, the one with the goals and focus setting, while the simple task is gonna be remaining free. So depending on what you need and how you use it, it is up to you what you want to reach out. Links will be provided in the pinned comment and in the description of this video. Now, if this video has been helpful to you thus far, I would kindly ask you to boop the like button so that it can spread to more people. Thank you. And if you don't want to miss out on the new videos and tips that I will be posting in the future, press subscribe so that you don't miss out. Let's continue. Progress, we're gonna be editing the property, and we are gonna be calling this goal done. So, and it's gonna be a percentage. Let me just go into the number format. It's gonna be percentage, and it should be formula. And when editing formula, we're gonna go with let's. Let's is a way how you can define the variables and using the variables in Notion to do a simple expression. So first we're gonna be talking about simple tasks. So the idea is that the goal progression will be a summary of all of the tasks being done against the list of completed total amount of tasks. So first we're gonna have simple tasks, filter by current, and where the status is, and we're gonna call it .format so that we can actually do text compare, equals to either done or rejected. So this is the first one. So simple tasks done are simple tasks either done, so we have selected that we did the task, or that we have selected, okay, we're not gonna do the task, and that's all about it. So that means also rejected is also a correct value. Yeah, simple task done, and then length to get the amount of tasks that we have. Then we're gonna be adding another value. We're putting together a list, and we're gonna count the tasks that are done and rejected. And then, so those are defined as simple tasks done. Then we need to also define the project tasks done. And that actually brings me to another value. And when I go projects, I realize that we don't have project tasks, we only have projects. But we need to add something in the goals list which will help us count the tasks that are related to the project. And that one thing we need to add is a rollup. And rollups are actually quite useful, so I'm going to be showing you how to do. We're going to call rollup here. And then we're going to be calling relation would be, and this would be calling project task. So we're going to be calling the relation, it's going to be projects, and target property is going to be the list of tasks that it contains. So, right, cool. So as you can see, project task, simple task 1, 2, 3. Now we have a list of tasks that we can actually count that would be contributing to the overall goal. So goal added property, added the formula, and now we can actually add, we're going to replace this. So simple tasks done, we have successfully defined. Now we're defining the second variable, project tasks done, which is essentially the same thing as simple task, but we're going to be calling this project tasks, and then do exactly the same thing we did for the simple tasks. So this way, we are counting a total amount of tasks that are both either simple or project tasks, and they are going to be contributing to the overall progress. So there we go. One good suggestion when doing this, I would suggest that the simple tasks shouldn't be both in the project and linked directly to the goal. So it should be either or, just to make sure that everything is written correctly. Now, yeah, we're doing the same thing. Project tasks filter current.status.format is also, format, sorry, you have to really be accurate about it, is rejected. And we're gonna be putting the length at the end of it. So these two values, simple tasks done, is gonna calculate all of the tasks that are tied to the project that are in the state either done or rejected. Project tasks is gonna do the same. Now, what we wanna do, we want to combine both values, so we're going to add amount of simple done tasks and the project done tasks, and we're going to be dividing them by the total amount of tasks that are tied to this goal together. So, and we'll do that by dividing by simple tasks.length and plus the project tasks.length. We can actually, so this is the expression that gets calculated, and I really like the structure of let's because it allows me to calculate the value. So now, just for testing purposes, let's take a sample task. We're gonna be taking one task and we're gonna mark it as done. So let's see which one that's connected to the sample project. And we're gonna take simple task 2 and we're gonna mark it as done. Oh, not to do today. Let's put it to done, shall we? Good. Now let's check if the calculation is working. Oh, wait, it actually isn't. And that's why, because simple task has been listed twice and the goal done, we need to work on the definition. So we're gonna edit the value, and here it says divide by 100. That's wrong. It shouldn't be divided by 100. It should be, let's take the number format and we're gonna say percentage. There we go. So now it's 50%, and it's 50% because we have the simple task 2 is defined twice. I made a mistake. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna be unlinking the simple task 2 from the sample project. Now it's 25%, which is out of the 4 tasks, 1 is done. So that's 25%. That's good. Math checks out. Really important when you're doing the formulas, math always needs to check out. Right. Enough of me rambling. Let us continue with the development. Now that the progress tracker is actually showing correctly, so what I want to do, I want to add these goals not as a table, because it's really not that presentable. I would much rather have this as a, as a carousel, as a gallery, if you will. So we're going to be creating a new gallery, which we're going to call also, guess what? Goals. I mean, actually, let's not call it anything. Let's just use the icon, shall we? And we're gonna be putting this at exclamation circle so that we can just see it. Now, for the time being, we're gonna do the gallery and we're gonna card preview none, which is good. And we're gonna be just filling it with properties. This is where our goals will be listed, and those goals shall be put in the right order with the right properties. So what data do we want to show? Name, obviously. Due date, definitely. Focus, yes. The percentages of the goal done, sure. Probably priority level and the due date. Let's go a little bit and add more properties to this. We're going to be adding priority level because I think it's important. And let's see, priority level, due date, and I think percentage of the goal done should be higher up because it tells us how far along are we. And then the due date, and then the priority, and if it's a focused one. We're going to be adding buttons, which will be set focus and unset focus, which we're going to trigger some automations, but that's something that we're going to do further down the line. We have here shortcuts about due today and tasks. So I want to be adding another shortcut, which is going to be called focus. What we're going to do, we're going to be adding another field here. And let's put another H1 for header. So we're going to be calling this focus task. So let's put another emoji with this target. Probably you're getting sick of me by saying pushing this target, but we're going to be using it to focus goal. I mean, you can always change the emoji, it doesn't really matter. So we're going to be putting the green background and the focus goal. The real importance why I want this focus goal, because guys, if you monitor your goal every single day, all productivity coaches like Hormozy, Martel, Ali Abdal, all of them are going to tell you it's really important that you review your goal daily. And that's exactly the logic that I'm trying to build here. I'm trying to put a focus goal, so I put a new view where we have the goals. However, we're going to be filtering this view because not all goals are important, just the ones that we want to focus. And that's my addition to the table, where when you select the goal is focused, the whole world just fades away. Everything else is gone, and only the task contributing to that focus will help you make laser-focused decisions and making sure that you're doing things that push the ball forward. Now, so let's put this focus goals above so that it's immediately on the top, so you can really actually see what's being done here. Now, this is important. Goal 1 is being shown, and the progress and the deadline. So every time you open up this goals, projects, and tasks, you're going to be reviewing that goal because it's the top left corner. You're going to be thinking about it. You're going to be saying, aha, am I progressing towards my goal? And that's what I'm trying to achieve here. And now we're going to be adding the week, because if you're focusing during this, your daily task and your calendar needs to reflect this. So if your calendar is reflecting this, so that's why we're introducing the concept of calendar. I didn't want to have it in my simple projects and tasks because there it doesn't matter. We don't have the focus fields, which means, so right now we're pasting in the calendar view of the same projects and tasks table, but we're going to be having this linked database view. And also the calendar, we're going to be editing it, and let's just go and change the calendar. Fine. Now what we want to do, we want to have the weekly view, not the monthly. It doesn't really matter the whole month. We want to see tasks in a week. Now we want to make sure that we filter all of this where the due date is this week. Perfect. Safe for everybody. I mean, Notion guesses what I want to say. Beautiful. So we're going to be creating another field, which is going to be callout. I always use callouts, guys. This is a pro tip. Just put the callouts and all the structures will be falling into place. I know, it's magic. Now, speaking of that, we're going to be moving this callout to the top because right now we are adding a field this week. So you want to be seeing how do your daily tasks compound towards contributing towards the higher goal. This unsadly means that your tasks are being pushed down a little bit, but if the focus is this week, that's where it needs to be. So simple tasks and projects. Right. Cool. So now what I want to do, I do want to engineer a little bit about the goals page. So we're going to be going to the customize layout. So when you're reviewing your goal, we're going to go for the tabbed look because this is the recent edition in Notion. I love it. It's awesome. So what we're going to do, it helps us to make sure that we put the most important fields at the top. We want to put the due date, percentage of goal done, and we want to be putting the focus button and the priority level. I'm thinking something along those lines. We're obviously going to be changing this later, but for the time being, that's it. Then we want to be putting the simple tasks, which are the tasks that are contributing, but the layout isn't really optimized. We want to have it as a list. So this will be just a list of tasks, probably the list of the costs as well, and also we're going to be adding such stuff. So let's see, we're going to be putting the cost, due date, and maybe priority or the status or something like that. So let's see, what do we do? Now, let me just quickly check. What do? We put it to the cost, due date, and priority. So it costs $50, it needs to be done by May 30th, and it's medium priority. Cool. Okay, and then we want to be adding the projects. Now, with the projects, it's a little bit different because projects, you don't have a deadline really on delivering the project. It's more tied to the deadline of the goal, probably. But we're going to be putting this also as a list. But when we're reviewing a sample project, if there are multiple projects contributing to this goal, you want to see the progress on those projects. So rather than putting like a simple values, what I want to be putting here is % done. Yes, that's the part that I would be looking for. How are we progressing? And what's the priority level? And what's the project cost? So let's just rework them so that it first is the cost, progress, and the priority level. Cool. So if we have multiple tasks, this will be telling us how far along are we with our projects. This is good for follow-up, and this is good to give you how all of these relate to your goal. I think it's really important, and it's really cool to have it structured this way. Final step of the layout customization. Now we're going to be hiding some values because not all of them have to be shown. They're being shown in other tabs, so there is really no point of setting them separately. Now, if we review a sample project, projects has also the list of its tasks, and it shows which goal we're contributing, so I'm pretty happy the way it looks. Focus goal is here, so the next thing we want to be adding is we need to be adding the buttons to both set focus and unset focus on those goals, and there is a little bit of automations that we want to be going around that. So let's create another. We're going to be calling this button. So there is a new button which we're going to call set focus. Now set focus is a little bit specific. It's going to do two things for us. First, it's going to be obviously checking the field focus, but we want to be editing the goals new DB, and we first, before setting the focus on this one, we want to uncheck focus on all pages in the database, meaning if you're setting a focus, only one goal can be focused at the same time. So right now, first of all, we're going to just unset the goals on focus on all of the goals, and then we're just going to be setting the goals to be checked on this specific page. Okay, add action, and here we're going to be edit pages in this page, and then we're going to be putting it, let's click this page and add a property, which is the focus, and we're going to be selecting to be checked. Save. And then we're going to be adding another. So the next button that we're going to be creating is unset focus, which means if a task is being focused and we really need to refocus, which I highly advise against, I want to make sure that we have also the capability to do that. Unset the focus. Right. So edit automation. Let's say edit the property focus so it's unchecked. Good. Check. Pun intended. Now, unset focus, we're gonna be just unsetting the focus on this task, while setting the focus is also gonna kill focus on all others. Let's just test it. Yeah, cool. That's the way it's supposed to be working. So, once it's focused, it's immediately gonna be popping up in the focus goal. And here, I want to be adding to the list of properties only unset focus, because first we have the priority level, then we have goal done, the due date, and we want to be putting the button for unset, because if it's showing up there, it's already being set. Good. This is for us to avoid the situation where we have multiple goals being focused, because then the whole point of this addition to the template is getting lost. You can really only focus on one single goal. Now, setting the focus and unsetting the focus, we're adding them to this table though, so that it is easier to set and reset the focus. Cool. Let's put this as a default view. Okay, so now the final addition to this week and tasks is the filter, and this is really important. So we're gonna be adding the filters where when we set the focus, we filter out everything else. That's really important, because once we set that, that allows us to really remove all of the tasks. So we're going to be setting roll-ups. We need the roll-up for focus. So relation is going to be called focus, and relation is going to be to the related goal with the target property called focus. And that we need to add to both the tasks and the projects. Now, we're gonna be duplicating this, and we're gonna be calling the button, right. We duplicated the view, it's a layout table. We're gonna be setting it as a second value, so this will only work when we want to be focused, and we're gonna have the focus field is checked. Save for everybody. See how the task got filtered out? Because not all of the tasks are directly related to that project. This is what I mean. This is why it's important. The same thing we wanna do to the projects. And the project is also, we have the focus. We're going to be adding a roll-up saying focus, focus, yes. So if the project is being focus, that means that once a project is set to focus, it will also be shown even when we add the filter out. Okay, so we just add a field focus, and then hopefully it should be working fine. All right, filters, focus is checked. All right, so that's what I wanted to show you, and now these fields, once the project is being set, all of the tasks will be focused. Now for the sharp mind among you, I have created a mistake, and that we're going to be correcting. More specifically, it is tied to, let's say we have a sample data. Now, we have goal 1, which is related to the simple task P2, but it's not related to the sample project 2. So other tasks, such as test task 1, will not be focused. However, we're gonna say now, what if we go through focus using this roll-up, it will only be showing the focused that are directly tied to the related goal through a simple goal. So we're not going to be calling it related goal, but we're going to be calling it a simple task goal, because this will be goal based for that individual task, not through the project. Meaning we need to add an additional field, and this additional field is going to be a roll-up, and that roll-up is going to be relation project, and the project target property will be related goal. Yes, and we're gonna be calling that roll-up project goal. And we're gonna be using this lovely thing that everybody's all probably sick and tired by now, but that's fine. So project goal, if we see due this week, okay, so now let's check it. So now this gives us a little bit better understanding of what the project goals are. So here we have the goal 1, sure, we have the goal 1, and that's fine. However, I'm gonna just, for the purposes of testing, I'm gonna be opening test task 1, and that one is not started, but the due date, I'm gonna be moving it to, let's say, 3 days from now, test task 1, and it's in progress, just to add a little bit of livelihood to our data. Why, you may ask? Because then it will be showing here. And this one hasn't got any related goal either through project or anything. Now, currently, our focus field is showing only the one that's tied directly through its simple goal. While in theory, focus field should be checked either through simple task goal or through project goal. So this field focus needs a correction. Now, what we're gonna do, we're gonna be creating, and this will no longer be a roll-up, this will be a formula to make this calculation correct. So we're going to be using here the formula. We're going to be using the let's. I have found that let's actually allows you to do very fine refinement. So we're going to calling this one project goal focus. And this one is going to determine if the focus should be through the project goals rather than the simple task goals. So map project goal current dot focus. So then we're gonna be saying task simple task focus, which is gonna be defined as map simple task goal current focus. So now we come to the expression. So we have defined two variables. One is project goal focus, which should be covering project goals and see if they're focused. And the second one should be simple task focus. So we're going to say if, and this is going to be multiple brackets, so bear with me. So we're going to say if project goal focus dot format. I don't know if there is another way. Let me know in the comments, is true or task simple task focus format equals to true. So if either one of the two is true, then the result should be true, otherwise false. Right, so it should read like this. If the goal is set and being focused through either simple goal, task goal, or project goal, then it should be focused. So let's see if it works. So what we see here, we see sample project 1, is that being focused? Yes. Then we have the goal 1 being defined here. So we have both of them have the goal 1, which is currently in focus. So if we say, okay, now goal 2 should be focus, which means this is unset, and what do we have here? None of them has the goal 2 being set as a focus, so none of them is focused. Let's see if we try again, and the goal 2 is being set. Let's unset the focus on the goal 2, and then reset the focus on the goal 1, and there we go. We have projects being shown with being focused. So that actually corrects the error that I have just introduced with this rollup, and it's a good thing because we would almost miss it. Now, the thing is, on the calendar view, we also want to be creating a simple view, which we're gonna say, we're gonna duplicate the calendar view actually, and we're gonna be putting the same focus icon, and we're gonna be calling this focus. And here, we're gonna be using the same filter as we do, add filter, and that one should be focus is checked. Say for everybody. So we're going to be hiding the filter. So once again, you can see here we have the test task 1. But if we say, okay, we need to focus this week. So we're going to press focus and we're going to press focus. And the moment we do that, the list will be filtered. So we have removed. Oh, hold on. Think I have. No, here I have to add a filter. Here we're going to say focus is checked. Yeah. And that way, if we go, test task 1 will disappear because it's no longer being focused through anything. Yeah. So hopefully this will allow you to actually set priorities and focus on your task, and making sure that once you enter the focus mode, you only focus on the tasks that propel you forward, that move the needle forward, and it will help you achieve your goals faster. Now, if you would like to download this template will be available in the pinned comment of this video. And if you want to get the simple tasks, well, that is available through my Gumroad page, which is also linked in the description. And if you would like to see my step-by-step guide how to build projects and tasks template for yourself, then check out the video above and I'll see you there.